Okay, what we got here, this is a front panel. Once again, all the components are gal dipped. In this situation, this is a hinge door. It's off to one side of the panel. It can be left, it can be right, and it can even be in the centre, depends on what you'd like. This is the top bar section, and this is scallop shaped for the horses to have their head out. This is one solid door. You can get split doors if you want, but in this situation, this is one solid door. This is the more popular one that I do. And again, this is ply sheet for this panel. And we do them in Tassie oak, 32mm tongue of groove. Okay, well I'll show you how this one goes together. In this situation is this end one, because that one has to get slid in on a bit of an angle. So, okay, and this one in a little bit more, just to square it up and keep it parallel. Okay, so we've just put the side on. Before we put the bottom on, we'll just slip the ply sheet on. So slip it in underneath the top. Okay, now we'll just slide the bottom section on. Takes some time to rub it up. Once again, another nice tight fit, and that's what we want. We want it nice and tight, because the tighter the better. So the next section is we have to slide the middle rail in. Okay, so now we're putting the middle section in, and what we do is we slide the top in first. As we slide the top in, then we go to the middle section. So it's handy to have a little bit of ply to tap in. Lift that up for you. Okay, and now as the middle goes in, you just drop that bottom section down a little bit, just so we can get the bottom one lined up. Okay. Section is we just slide the other piece on. You got yours in a little bit. Okay, well that's it. All tapped in. Need to get we'll get a couple of screws and screw together. Yeah, okay. If you're handy with the welder, and a lot of farmers that have their own welders, you can just run a weld through the top if you don't want to screw it. And then the same with the bottom ones, run a weld through the bottom one. You need a bit of cold gal and a bit of epoxy silver on it. You will be bitching on them later, so there's no worries about rust or that. Okay, now in this situation, once again, with your bars, you can have bars or mesh, your choice. Now the opening, you've noticed I've put the screws, as it's laying on the ground, I've put the screws on the face. So when I lift it up, the door is actually going to be hinged on the other side. So the door will be on the left-hand side of this panel. But if you put the screws on, if you flip it over and put the screws on the other side, the door would be on the right-hand side of the panel with the screws on the inside. So this panel can be switched left or right. It's up to you, whichever way you want to have your doors swinging. So it's universal in both ways. Okay, we'll actually stand this panel up now and we'll put the door on. Okay, now we've just picked the panel up and we're just leaning it up against the other panel. This is a demo panel. We're not actually fitting it into a stable block, so I'm just leaning it up there for the moment just so I can show you. We'll pick the door up, put it in place, we'll whack the hinges on. Okay, now we're just about to put the door in place. I'm just going to whack a couple of packers on so we can sit the door on. Okay, wait, we'll just stand it up. Okay, well, what I've done is I've put your packers in there, and normally what you do is you put the panel in place first before you put the door on, because some sheds, the actual shed post will be a little bit out. So you put your panel in, and then you just use packers to adjust the height of your door and to adjust the side so you get a nice even side so it hangs well. Like I say, sometimes the sheds can be a little bit out of plumb. So put your panel in first, then hang your door. Okay, now I'll supply you with all the hinges. It's a ball bearing hinge, and you'll notice there's a little hole in there, and that's where the ball bearing is, inside that. And you know, I'd say every 6 months you can get a little can of spray grease and just spray a bit of grease in there, and that'll stop it from freezing up. So now I'll just put the hinge on there so it's just flush on either side. So the hinges, I just put the hinge just underneath the top half. I'll just screw it in. Once again, bottom of the hinge just level with there. You can have it up or down, but I like to keep it nice and symmetrical. And by the way, this is a screw gun. You can just use a normal power drill. No difference. You just need a hex head bit for the screws. Get them at any hardware. The hinges are screwed on, hinge top and bottom. We'll just open the door, the packers will just fall out naturally. So, there we have it. Just door fits straight in. And like I say, you actually want the panel in position before you put the door on. Nice and simple. Now we'll put the handle. This is the handle, it's a slide handle with 2 kinkers on it. Get the bolt. Straight through the hole. Put a little spacer. Goes on there. And then slide that on there. Don't let it go because it'll drop, so get the bolt in the bottom. Chuck another spacer on. Feed it through the hole. the nut on. Let's grab a shifter. I'm just going to line that little spacer, just keep it nice and square on the back, and then we'll just do it up. And if you've got a ratchet set, just chuck a ratchet on it to do it up. We want it nice and tight, so it doesn't loosen off. I've got a cup head on the inside so the horse doesn't rub on it. And you'll find that if you keep doing it up, the cup head on the inside will pull into the lock section, which will hold it there nice and tight. Okay. I can now do the bottom one. Okay. So here, look. Okay, now I'm just going to put my strikers on. Now they just go on like that, they just screw in there. So that's what locates your lock. One other thing I do, which I haven't done with this lock, is this handle comes right up the top here, and by doing that, you can, when you're actually inside the stable, you can actually grab hold of the handle and lift it up. Today I've got this handle, so we'll just have to do with that one. I don't actually do the bottom one right up. Before I do that, I put the bottom screw in, because if you do it up too tight, the thing will spin. You don't want that to happen. So put the bottom one on, and then just tighten the top one up. And that's the handle. Now what we have to do is, because it's quite tight, we just have to give it a bit of adjustment. And for the adjustment, it's quite simple. You can see it's too tight. Grab the hammer, lever it out a bit. Nice and simple. Nice and simple.